Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special edition, a fantasy edition of Final Whistle. Kevin Walsh, alongside, as always, David Giacomino, and RotoExperts.com's very own Scott Engel. And today we are going to be talking about the second base position. Now, there are two predominant players, Robinson Cano and Jose Altuve. Last year, Altuve was the better of the two, surprisingly. But right now, if you only could have one, which one would you be taking?
Well, I wouldn't take either one of them in the first round because Cano doesn't give me enough power, and neither one of these guys is going to give me enough power. We've seen Cano get the power numbers with the Yankees, but they just weren't there with Seattle last year, and it really wasn't a product of the ballpark if you look at the splits. But seeing him in the winter leagues, he wasn't hitting for power either. When I'm in the first round of my draft, I want to get the best counting numbers regardless of the position. But now you're asking me who's best at the position. I'd probably take Robinson Cano for better counting numbers. With Jose Altuve getting a real nice batting average. If you play in an on-base percentage league, you'll get that too. You'll get steals, you'll get run scored, but you won't get power and run production. So I got to put Cano ahead of him. If I know that Anthony Rendon is healthy, though, he's ahead of both of these guys. Last year, I knew this kid was going to be a professional hitter. He's a young guy, but he hits like he's 30 years old.
I have to agree with that. I have to take Robinson Cano over Altuve because Altuve really only brings batting average. And in fantasy sports, you want more than that. You want production in home runs, RBIs. And I think Robinson Cano will have a bounce back year in the power game. I think he's going to have more home runs than he did last season. The ballpark did affect him. Maybe it's going to take him a little bit getting used to in that ballpark, but I think he's going to have a nice bounce back season. I think he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to be the best second baseman in baseball.
One thing with Altuve is the speed, and everybody likes to spend so much on speed, but like you said, he's got to have the run production. Now, you look at the ballpark, I don't know how much it's got in his head because he didn't do it in the winter leagues either, and he actually hit more home runs on the road last year. It's just, Cano's still very good in a lot of categories, but, are you the kind of guy that goes for speed early?
Speed, no. I'm the kind of guy that goes for speed mid rounds. I like to grab someone that will give me speed here and there. I don't really go for someone with speed that's all he does for me. I want someone that's going to give me a little everything in the first couple of rounds. If he has speed too, but that's definitely not something I focus on early in the rounds.
And I think it's fair, though, to say that the two of them are very good for considering the position. But you mentioned Rendon, and I think he's very interesting because he's eligible at second and third.
Right.
And I'm curious of your opinion on a guy like that, where he has dual eligibility. Do you value that more, or do you think that it could become confusing where you start to forget about positions, or is that something that's more coveted in a player?
Dual eligibility is overrated. Maybe in the later rounds where I'm making a tough decision between two players, but in the early rounds or the highest bid in your auction format, if you're playing an auction, you want the guy with the best numbers. And if I know Anthony Rendon is healthy, he's going to give me the best numbers, but the MCL is a problem. Like I said, this kid is a very, very professional hitter. How do you guys feel about Rendon?
Rendon's a very solid player. I do have him up there. I have him third behind Altuve, but like you said, it all comes down to production. I don't know if he's going to stay healthy, and that's a key factor in fantasy. Is he going to stay healthy throughout the whole season? If he's not, then that hurts my team. When I'm taking someone that high, I want someone I know is going to stay healthy and have a good season.
Yeah, and I think regardless how you want to rank the three, I think for most people that is the consensus top three, regardless of order. But when you look at the rest of the position, it doesn't have that superstar names down the rest of the way. So if you missed out on those three in the early rounds, would you wait, till the later rounds to try and find your starting second baseman, or do you think that it's a position where you need to try and grab someone earlier, even if you miss out on those top three guys?
I really don't look at things like that in terms of position. I want the best numbers. One guy I like a lot, and I want to hear what you guys think. I think D. Gordon make a terrific move to Miami. This is a guy, when I talk to people who cover the Marlins and are close to the team, now with that lineup behind him, when he's on base and Giancarlo Stanton is up, nobody's going to want to throw Giancarlo Stanton a fastball, so this kid's going to be stealing second and third. I am going to go on record right here today on the Iona College cameras saying that D. Gordon is going to lead the major leagues in stolen bases this year. Forget Billy Hamilton. Spend up on D. Gordon. What do you think?
I got to agree. This is a guy that's been getting better each season he's been in the major leagues. Now his move to the Marlins is only going to help him, like you said, in the stolen base production. He's going to have a great season. I could see him having 50 to 60 stolen bases this season.
More.
70.
Come on, let's spin it up.
And the biggest part of that, too, as you think about, is when you have a player like Giancarlo Stanton, who's going to be able to bring him in so many times, it increases that value. And I think that's why Gordon has that increased value this year. And I think that he could really be a steal if people aren't going to give him the attention that he deserves.
And let me tell you something, okay? For you baseball fans out there and you non-baseball fans, if you don't like watching baseball but you want to watch an exciting team, the Miami Marlins are going to be exciting this year. You got D. Gordon stealing bases, Giancarlo Stanton hitting bombs, and they got some good young pitching. That's an exciting ball club.
Yeah, like you said, Stanton's going to knock him in. So if you're in a category that's a run category, that's a great. He can sometimes get 3 or 4 runs in one game, and that's a difference maker in a run production in a runs category league. That's awesome, D. Gordon.
Now you mentioned a star on the rise, but let's think about someone who's been in the league for quite some time, and that's Dustin Pedroia. Last year, rough season. What do you expect out of the leader of the Red Sox this coming year?
Yeah, it's just the power's not going to be there anymore. He's more of a name than anything. Pedroia is not going to end up on any of my fantasy teams this year. How about you guys?
I'm going to wait and take him. If anything, I'm getting him late. And I don't want to waste a high draft pick or a mid-draft pick on him just because, like you said, he's just a name now. His production has not been there last season, and I don't want to waste a pick mid-level or a top pick even on a guy that I'm hoping that's going to give me production. I want someone that's I know is going to help me out.
And just before we go, 2 late sleepers at second base. Micah Johnson of the Chicago White Sox stole over 80 bases in the minor leagues a few years ago, and watch Jace Peterson of the Braves for speed as well.
My guy who's not really talked about that much is Brian Dozier on the Twins. He's a 20 home run guy. He's a great player. He should be looked into.
Well, you have plenty of sleepers, plenty of options to choose from. That is all the time we have today on the fantasy edition of Final Whistle. Kevin Walsh, Dave Giacomino, Scott Engel, thanks for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time.